Well, hello! You're most welcome back to Gmodism channel. I'm your host Eric, and we are finally starting the Yamato refit series for real. A lot of you wanted me to refit Yamato, 82% to be exact, and well, of 466 votes, 40% of you want me to start with fixing the systems. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. Actually, I would have done that anyways, but I just wanted to ask you and see if you chose the right suggestion. And by the way, if you didn't select the option refitting and fixing the Ultra Yamato, well, the battle with the Ultra Yamato versus the Draconia and some other ships, that's actually already in a previous little video, which you can find in the uploaded, in case you missed that. I test the Ultra Yamato versus the Draconia and some other ships as well, that are old but strong, just to test it out if you want to. The conclusion we came to during that time was that we had some multiple additional areas to fix, which is better termite armor, for example. Aim points is a little bit interesting. We need to fix where it basically aims, and those necks of the turrets, well, won't work, as well as turret turn rates and limitations for where the barrels can turn came up as some additional results. And chain reaction of ammo storage and materials too was pretty devastating ways. It also lost a lot of health points very fast, so that is added to the to-fix list. Anyways, huge thanks to all our commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism and YouTube members. Your monthly support helped this channel a lot, I can speak, because it will give me some more creative freedom to do these types of videos for you, which is very nice. Most notably then, as we read up the most high-ranking members, which is Commodore Owen, Captain Shuro, Commander Morden, our Lieutenants Anto, Cravey, Drew Canboretta, Floss Dragon, Powered by Greed, Vincent Veritas, Rick Prell, and Scuba Rocks. See, I've basically learned. Alright, so here she is. Isn't she beautiful? We're going to start with fixing the systems. To better see the systems, we have loaded in this little view here, which only shows the system blocks. So here we can see that we have some patches. Alright, all the ammo is not at the same place. Actually, we have one in the front too. Very interesting. I did miss that, but nonetheless, it needs to be spread out even more. Can you believe that? So the obvious things that are a really big issue is, of course, that the steam engines are kinda, you know, not as they should be. There we have some blocked outputs, making it so that it can't output the power it's built to output. So darn it, Martin, this is I'm sorry, but this is a beginner mistake, and it happens to me too. The difference is, when you've completed a ship, you enter this view and you check all the system blocks, so you'll know if any of the systems ain't working. And if you're new to this game, I'm going to make a new beginner's tutorial that goes in all those basic things, but just to a little bit quickly, you cycle through the views using Shift and P when in build mode. Like, look at this. Now we spawned a Marauder. Let me spawn another Marauder just so you can see, like, this engine, because it's blocked, it outputs no power. It's completely useless. This thing is dead. So, and that is because, of course, the outputs here are blocked. So to unblock these outputs, we'll just click R to select this block. And it's a little trick I have. You just click E and you can see what block it is. It's a 4-meter alloy, because sometimes you may not want to remove whatever block it's in front of. So you might need to check that, right? And so you can see now they are all unblocked. And now this gearbox is suddenly generating 6,000 power. Which is good, you know. This engine is, however, EMP susceptible, so it will die if we get shot by EMP. So that, you know, if this engine had worked during the fight versus the Gimlet, spoiler alert, but you probably saw that video, right? Otherwise, go watch it and don't watch any further. A lot of you guessed very wrong when I asked you what nationality I was from, because, you know, anyways, that and other questions I will ask you during this little refit will be on the community page on YouTube. The rest of the discussion is probably on Discord. We created the subreddit, so feel free to start using that too as well, r/Gmodism. Anyways, this thing, the little valve, steam valve, it in any case is EMP susceptible. So if we blast this with some EMP surge, we might get a very sad ending to the engine. About that, I also asked you for some style suggestions on the community page. So it is very clear that 72% of you definitely want us to preserve and increase the Martincitopants vibes the best I can. So we're gonna use some images, image protectors and stuff like that. Some of you want some more AOG flavor and some of you want to added realism. Well, we might add some small elements here and there, but we are going to try and make it more Frogman. We're going to spawn in a Megalodon just to check the value. So this is not battle testing. We're basically, we don't care about what happens with the Megalodon. We're just spying on the systems. So you can see here that the ammo access seems to be okay. The fuel access seems to be okay. We go down to, we have 68,000 power about, ready to go, ready to use. So we have some space to deal with some power generation there, which is good. But of course, the steam engines are not working. I think we're gonna replace them. If not, we're just going to remove them, because right now they're just dead weight. I mean, the steam engines, they're not exactly like sheep. If you have the big steam right here, you can see we have pistons 450 each. Of course, it's an expensive ship, but it wouldn't surprise me if we can just improve this ship as well as making it much better and much cheaper. Or maybe we'll make it more expensive. You know what? I'll probably post a poll on the YouTube community page about that. Should we keep... what cost should it have like that? And no, I will not be able to make it as cheap as the Gimlet. It will not possible to make this system 2 million because, you know, it's just too large. It will be a papier-mâché design if we do it at 2.2 million. Oh, and that reminds me, look at this repair bot spam. There's so many repair bots. So repair bots is an easy way to make ships perform better because the enemy doesn't use repair bots, so that's handy. They use them repair tentacles and repair vehicles and stuff like that, but players are responsible for repair bot spam. Yeah, we're going to remove that because the issue with repair bot spam, as said in the community page, is that it allows people to basically build pretty bad designs and get away with it. We obviously have some tilt problems here, so we are going to install a auto stabilization functions using some ACBs. If you're wondering why, these guys are very responsible for it. Oh my god, finally the Megalodon is dying. That, you know what? It takes too long time to kill a Megalodon for a 10 million ship right now. This will be fixed. But not in this particular video, we're looking at systems. Also, it seems that this little series might be called Pimp My Ship, but I guess that's more a voluntary suggestion. It's not like Martin has asked me to fix the Yamato, so this is not Pimp the Yamato, this is Pimp My Ship. You know what, that might be a future thing we'll do during live streams, so keep tuned for those. You know what's pretty fun with these gearboxes here? They actually cost power when they're not in use like this, when they're not working. So this particular little thing costs 1,500 power by just existing. So if you check the power bar in the lower right corner, we're just gonna delete the system. You can see the power is actually, we're actually getting more power now. Isn't that pretty funny? I thought we had some bad FPS, by the way, so I put the game in basically super slow speed, if you're wondering why it feels a little bit, you know, why this smoke is in slow motion. Anyways, and why things are falling in slow motion as well. Since these are basically dead weight, we're just going to remove them as is. And all of the steam engines have this problem. And even if we fix it, it's not basically, you know, I got some better steam engines, which we're going to build. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna build some steam engines and have those instead. And it's pretty funny. We have some sections of armor spawning back in. I have it. Even if I play this game for quite some time, I didn't know that was a feature that the repair bots adds like armor pieces back to the build when you have it in show only system blocks. Because it shouldn't render system, like it shouldn't render armor blocks, but apparently it does when we're getting them back. So that's a fun thing. Yeah, definitely like that. And there is a little thing which we'll need to utilize here. I showed that in a video pretty recently. So, but I'm gonna show it to you again. Shift E, and we got a blueprint maintenance tool. And here we can search for repair bots. I didn't know this until recently, so it's so useful. And here we can see here are the repair bots that we can search for them. And the nice thing is we can actually destroy them by right-clicking on them. So it's just such a handy function. So we're gonna delete these here because these repair bots, for one, they can be configured in a better way, because when we're spamming repair bots like this, oh, did they fall down or did we like mass delete? No? Anyways, when you have repair bots like this, they cause a good bit of lag because you actually see the model flying out there. And repair bot again. So that causes some performance impact when we actually have to see them flying out. We can close them in a closed box and they won't be like visible. So we can probably add some repair bots to the Yamato later, but honestly, it just fosters bad design. So we can add repair bots after we know this thing actually works and actually wins, not before. Also, while we're at it, I don't think this ship needs compact like repair tentacles right now, because this is only for dealing with if you are a carrier and you have a lot of airplanes and stuff on you that you send away or spawn or something like that, you'll need these. If you don't have that, you kind of don't. You have the ability to repair other ships as well, but honestly, that is not what the battleship does. It just isn't. There, maybe that's the 10% of realism we add in here for you that wanted me to make this Ultra Yamato by Martin more realistic. Maybe that's there, because that's one thing that's unrealistic. It's improper ship classification, which is pretty funny that is a thing, because it's pretty hard to get around and understand the ship classifications in general. So I wanted to make like a nice classification system to use for the army of Gmodism, or I already have, but it's a little bit hard to understand, so I felt like, darn, we'll need to fix that and make it a lot better. So that is something we're definitely actually working on as we speak. So it's a text document right now, but it will be a video and it will be a Steam guide. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that if you want to have some help with classifying your future ships. Here we have these things here. It's set to propulsion. And are we, if we just max out the like main drive of the ship, I want to see if these can actually like output the power we need. And these actually output some decent power, which is nice. You can see here we have some pretty good thrust in this pillar in particular. Now this one does go down there, it's a little bit worse, and this one is a little bit better. Let's see how it's set up. It's on automatic control. Pitch up, no. This won't do. These have to be set to manual control and only to forward for push or preset. Otherwise, we're gonna be pretty inefficient here. This is not what they're supposed to do here. Yeah, and that's probably also a little guide that I'll need to do some, you know, how to set up AI and stuff. I know one of you have requested it so many times. Sorry, it's not done yet, but I am gonna do that AI guide, so do not worry. It will be in an instant tutorial near you. So here we got that. It's painted with color 10, which is a bright yellow. And these colors are, by the way, they are ship specific. So they will be on the Yamato whenever it is. It doesn't use fleet colors, I think, because then I would see it, because I, of course, have my fleet colors loaded here. Most builders that build for factions like to use fleet colors. And if you want their builds to look right, like the AOG stuff, if you've been here for a while, you may have downloaded some Army of Gmodism ships, then you'll need to like set up the fleet colors in there. But the updated building platform I made and uploaded on the workshop, that actually has some instructions in the download page. We can look at that a little bit later. Probably need to design some systems on it anyways. Right, so these systems here, we have a gear ratio 2. I just want to see what happens if we bring this gear ratio down a little bit. We can see that the potential here goes down a little bit. So output energy is same, of course, but this thing, thrust, we can see it's max 10,000 and it's basically, yeah. And this is, yeah, also gone down there. So that's on same value though. These steam engines are a little bit, let's say, we'll need to improve them as well. But I really like this little setup. I think it looks very cute with this like tubes and stuff and that. And it doesn't have valves in it, which is good because this means it's not susceptible to EMP. But we have unnecessarily long wiring back and forth, and that can be really cool if it's an aesthetical build that you're meant to be able to walk around in the engine room. But this is not it, and they're supposed to be functional. So yeah, we're going to fix that as well. I think, however, that I'm gonna try and set up a very inefficient but strong steam engine for the main propulsion. I feel that the Ultra Yamato, like, its efficiency isn't exactly its main objective, right? So yeah, and it's not efficient as it is. Like having one propeller like this costing 37 materials per second. So as long as we don't make it worse, I feel it's absolutely fine. We're going to try and set up a pretty strong, but then again, not the most optimal type of setup for a turret. Now, we have some blocks here. What is blocking us? I guess we'll just temporarily remove some blocks. I guess we can see what we removed later. I just want to do a little test. So the thing is here we want to have a parallel piston instead. That's what we want to use for high power, but well, not the most efficient engines. All right. I feel like I remove unknown blocks like this. It's like, oh, what is this? I guess we'll see when this engine is done. We can turn back blocks and we see whatever we removed. This needs to be a little bit larger. Let's see it's large enough. If it can push up D power. Yeah, we're pushing past 150,000 at least. I think we can reach to match. We should be able to reach to max, of course. So yeah, I think, you know, a similar system will probably be a pretty good setup. Now it's a little bit stronger than it has to be, of course, this engine, and it uses a lot of materials, but we can see it works reasonably well. And the materials per second is about 60, which is not optimal, but I guess we'll see what type of engine we can get here, basically. But yeah, I think we're gonna add them a little bit later. We need to look at some other systems already there before we can do too much. Yeah, this is very inefficient as it is. So if we can make it go faster, I think that's a good thing. Yeah, another setup correctly too, so we get some better thrust there. But we're going to fix and add these later. We'll need to see what blocks look like. Yeah, we'll see what we do about the lasers, but maybe we'll just add more lasers and let them be as they are here. They're a-okay. They're a-okay. We don't have to fix it. We don't have to. However, here we have some funny stuff. The multi-purpose laser. You can see this block. Do you see EMP and susceptibility? Nope, I don't see any EMP susceptibility as well. What about this one? Laser transceiver. Do you see any EMP susceptibility here? Nope, me neither. That's because basically no parts of laser are actually EMP susceptible. It's very few parts that are EMP susceptible, and that's like the pumps, the laser pump. Yeah. This one and this one. The cavities are not, but of course the cavities and the laser pump sit together. There is like one block more here that's EMP susceptible, the Q switch here. But basically most of these blocks are not EMP susceptible, and I don't know if well, perhaps our frog thinks that the EMP can travel in laser beams between the laser blocks. And, you know, that's not the thing, but From the Depth is a weird game, so I guess it could have been a thing. But this rubber protection is completely unnecessary. It only adds a weak point, because rubber is pretty flammable. Whoops, we're just going to undo that. So it's pretty like flammable like that. We don't want it. And these connection points are pretty darn important, as you might imagine. Again, they are not EMP susceptible, so we don't need surge protectors here. They should be removed. You know what? I'm a little bit curious. I'm gonna bring back the armor and see what it looks like now with the engine we did. Right, ready? Oh, I think these engines look a little bit cute, so it's a little bit sad to, you know, delete them like that, but you know, we'll need to fix them. It's how it is. Here's my little monstrosity sitting on the side here. Maybe we can build them together in some nice little way here. I guess we should just mass delete that area. Alright, so it's a little rubber box here. Wow, this is like properly protected like it was an AI core. And since this seems to be a pretty important connection point, it seems to be the only connection point. So if this breaks, we're basically disconnecting 2 blocks of lasers. That is what it looks like. We'll probably need some redundancy there. Gimli has a lot of such redundancy, and even it gets its lasers disconnected. So I get that this is a weak point here. Anyways, when we are on it, we are of course going to fix this little thing here. So we're just going to remove that rubber. And these little connection points too, of course, they are feeding the LAMS node. Now I'm accidentally choosing the wrong blocks here again. That's quite not what I meant. There we go. And this is not the place to skimp on heavy armor, because if this thing breaks, you know, we don't have a LAMS node up here. So I'm just gonna add a big block like that, and now I should have had mirror mode enabled, but yeah. And I added some extra heavy armor here just to be better safe than sorry. And this little particular area, it's so darn vulnerable. If this gets hit, like this can be taken out with an armor-piercing secondary heat shell. So we're actually, this is a broadsider then. So we're actually going to add a layer of ERA. And if you wonder what ERA is even, you should probably check out my little tutorial. My instant tutorial about armor. Check the latest ones, because that is the most sensible and good one. So yeah, now we enabled mirror mode as well, which saves time. And on this one too, we don't want this lamps node to be absolutely killed. So we're just adding it all over here, so we can be pretty sure that it won't probably die very easily. And it's now automatically added here, of course. Now I'm gonna fix this. Also, for the love of the entire ecclesiarchy of Gmodism, please do not start the game and using like mouse-based mode, because this mode is so inefficient at building. Like, you will thank yourself very quickly. Just begin with keyboard mode. Don't even try to do the like mouse-based mode, because this thing, it's just suboptimal for this game. The key-based building mode is such a darn good way to build, and it works so well for From the Depth. It's like built for it specifically. I know, because I started building with the mouse-based system, because it was a little bit new to me with this key-based system, because it frustrated me. But, you know, it just made me get good at this game, like, I don't know, 1 year later than I would have otherwise. And it continues. Inside here we have the multi-purpose laser, which is also for unknown reasons protected against EMP. I guess it can be easy to like guess that everything is EMP susceptible within a system, but why would From the Depth make it so simple? This game is not about simple, and that was a long time ago. I actually did an interview with Nick Smart, who made From the Depth a long time ago. Please don't watch it. It's probably very cringe. It's a long time ago. From my part, Nick Smart is always professional, of course, but you know, it was some years ago. But why would he make it simple? He wants it to be complex. Because if you're a bit new to this game, the funny thing is that Nick Smart, who is the main creator behind the game, or inventor of it, or I don't know how to call it, because a lot of people are developing, of course. But the reason that he wanted to make From the Depth was that he wanted a complex engineering game, and his background is a engineer as a flight something in the Royal Air Force, the RAF, I think it was. Anyways, he's a flight engineer, so the joke that you need an engineering degree to enjoy this game, you know, there is some truth there, because, you know, the creator of this thing literally is an engineer, or was an engineer. Since he doesn't do it anymore, is he an engineer because he has the degree, or is he not an engineer because now he's basically a game developer? I don't know. I think we'll go with engineer, because that sounds very cool. Anyways, here we have a little thing. You can see these lamps nodes. I remember the next block that's EMP susceptible. That is lamps nodes, annoyingly enough. So these will be killed by EMP despite all the effort that has been taken to not get the lasers EMP'd. So we'll need to go through the lamps nodes probably and EMP secure them. But you don't have to do that. We can just add more lamps nodes for redundancy. That's the other way to do it as well. So there are different ways. The AI is EMP secure, which is good. That matters a lot. And this goes through a lot of material containers. Yeah, this is this little cluster they lead to with a lot of these surge protectors. Man, you know, if you for some very unlikely reason is watching this, Mart, I will say to you that I appreciate your great effort of not making it connect with EMP, because you can see this is exactly right here. You can see a great effort has been taken to make it less EMP susceptible, which is great, but the issue is that the blocks is, of course, they're not susceptible, which I don't think I'll need to repeat anymore, honestly. I'll just gonna fix this system and we'll move on to the next. Ta-da, fixed. And they also have some ear on the side there, so they can take at least one hit with a very scary AP Shem railgun. My god, it never ends. I feel like this may not be the most important things to fix, but if I'm fixing something, I'll need to fix it, you know? Not like, oh wait, you know what? I have a prefab for this. Why did I not think of that earlier? My god. And there we go, the Lazarus Inc. L connector. There we have it. It's fixed. Very nice. And here as well. So much easier. And I even have a T connector. Embarrassing, I forget to use my own blueprints sometimes. That's very smart. Well, anyways, we should probably add a little backup connection as well. Now, the resources here need to be fixed too. All the batteries at the same place as well, which is not very optimal. But now, at least, I think mains of the laser system is fixed here. Okay, so we try to EMP protect the laser here a little bit. That should probably catch most of the blasts. So that's, we'll call that good enough. That should theoretically be good enough. Right, so here we have the laser area itself. This is like the actual laser. So I think that will actually, we want to improve the armor a little bit here. Because under it, it's basically a little bit protected. What am I saying? It's a little bit protected to deal with heat missiles, but it's very rare heat missiles come from below like that. Very few people make them, so we don't need to think about that really much, and this is a little thin anyways for that, so yeah. Anyways, I am thinking, since this is the actual multi-purpose laser, like inside of here, we looked at it before, this is a little bit, this can't go down, because of course, Martin is very famous for his, golden laser. So we'll need to protect this golden laser core a little bit more than it is right now. All right, so I've fixed the laser system a little bit here. So now I basically, you know that backup kind of connection network I talked about a little bit just recently. Basically, I added one of those. So here we have the laser core, which is a heavy armor box surrounded by a heavy armor box, which should be more than enough. We don't want to lose the laser, so better safe than sorry. I've connected up some of these here. You can see we have a network basically now with an extra output. So I added an output to the original laser system just to create this little network. And I added basically these rods on the spots where they are, so that I know that this is an area which we could utilize to output a LAMS node or something like that in future episodes where we're going to go through the Civ system, for example. We're not going to go through the Civ system during this episode, so yeah, but when we are, we know where to place some extra ones if we need some more LAMS nodes. Oh my lord, look at this. We have like bunched together so many quadruple guns. So we're gonna go back and fix these systems here. The laser network has been connected up. We removed some unnecessary EMP protection. So this little area here with steam engines, we're going to destroy and just wipe this thing off the face of the Yamato's interior so that we can provide some reasonable steam engines here that actually give full propulsion. Like these 7-meter propellers, if we're gonna use them, they should at least be max force, right? There we have it. It's removed. Now, I just realized that I think the episode 1 is starting to get pretty long, and we can't, of course, fix everything here. So we should probably focus on systems, you know? Propulsion is probably not really systems, I would think, or what do you think? Tell me in the comments. As I did mention before, I think we have a lot more opportunity to use this laser system. While the laser is of course one of its most effective weapon in Martin's campaign playthrough and things like that, and it's very iconic as well, I feel that it needs a little bit more power, you know, than it has to feel right, you know? I think it's, sorry to say, but it's a little bit lacking in firepower for this size of a ship, and I think it deserves to be really scary.
24, 25, I'm getting disqualified, 5% away, come on, no.
So if you want some more entertainment, I have the 24/7 live stream online on the Gmodism channel. You can check out all our previous battles and tournaments queued up in a weeks-long video, basically, that loops there. But you probably won't watch the same content twice, because it's a lot. Also, it desperately needs like 100 subscribers more, 200 or something like that, because, you know, I need 1,000 subscribers to monetize the channel, because right now YouTube takes all the money. So if you want to help this channel monetarily, me, but for free, you can subscribe to it, because I have the watch time to monetize it, but not the subscribers. And it's our extra channel, by the way, but was from the depth stuff there too. In any case, we've checked out this little laser system here. It looks all right, basically. There are some things here which I'll change a little bit. I'm not used to placing frequency doublers in a way like this, but apparently that works fine. No, people usually have, but whatever. It's fine, it's a-okay. A little bit cost efficient to have this many couplers that are not connected up to anything, because as you can see, this doesn't deal damage basically, because it doesn't have, you know, anything connected to it. This could be a, yeah, just a little connector there. But I'm not gonna replace this entire laser system. These are a-okay, we don't need to remove them. We just need to fix them a little bit. You can see we have laser destabilizers on this thing. And, you know, that's not something we need. So we're going to remove these destabilizers, and we're instead going to add more pumps into this system here. This is a pretty fun and cool Tetris that is used in some of the ships in game. I don't remember what they are called now, but it's really easy because you can just copy them slice by slice like this to increase its size. So I think that's pretty cool. Very nice. So now that laser system is fixed like that, and we're gonna do the same to, nope. It's the batteries. I thought we had more of these. God damn it, this is a lot of eggs in one basket, I'll tell you that. Sneaking around here a little bit, I found this little mistake here. This is so sad. Look at this. See this beam here? I'm clicking R to know what it is. So this is a 4-meter beam. So we have an alloy beam here, which basically compromises this entire EMP proofing. Let's see, do we have anything here? No, we don't. Might as well fill it in for peace of mind. Okay. But now this thing is indeed EMP secured. I'm just gonna check that the other side was too. It indeed was. This is basically just processing, of course. So we're processing some information, making our detection a little bit more efficient. That's what these little extra areas to the AI does there. A lot of people, me included, when EMP proofing, I like to use rubber triangles instead. And that is because they have the same EMP protecting property while costing a significantly less amount. And the added benefit with using them is that when you have them, let me show you, or actually wedge fronts, tetras, doesn't matter. When we have them here, we not only save cost, keep the same EMP insulation, and we can see the system. See this? We can kind of just look at it as, oh, it's the laser. So we can know. The only drawback is that this has 210 health and this has 840 health. So since this armor isn't like optimally set up like that, and I'm going to leave these systems here. I'm gonna leave that extra rubber as protection there. But of course, it's better to save damage save cost on the rubber, and instead put it in more armor outside it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Right, so we're going to add some laser damage as said. Oh god damn it, we have so many. It's crazy, we have so much materials here in one place. Right now we have about 3 million. All right. The funny thing with these containers, it's pretty, I don't know why they did this, but you can see material, the big material boxes, they have a flammability of 200%. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. But they are a little bit susceptible to, you know, fire, apparently, somehow. So we are going to make sure we are not having them too much close to anything that is most likely to burn. Like, these are not flammable. They won't cause fire like steam boilers and stuff does, but they will definitely cause issues in terms of starting to burn when something beside it burns. So we need to move a lot of them. Having some of them as protection, a protection layer, can make some type of sense since they have 15,000 health each, and that's a lot. You also can't really afford to lose them, so for that type of protection, we'll like to use this thing. Costs 2,000 materials, so it's not exactly cheap, but it will give you 37,000 health instead. So that's something we're gonna have for the armor episode. That's probably the only way you can defend in a reasonable way against the Arqueballista Invictus gun, for example. And if you don't know what that is, I will refer you to the Gimli versus Yamato video. So we have just noted down the amount of materials, ammo, fuel, engine power, energy it has right now before we start to remove these systems. And the reason we want to remove these systems like this is that you can see like this battery area here. Now we can see how much it costs, all of it. I'm gonna remove one block here. Go into this, add a electrical engine so we can go inside of here. Can you like be connected? Thank you. And tell us how much you cost. No? All right, that's how it was. This is a little bit weird. So you can see here, it doesn't say how much it costs in this menu, which it usually does. But if you look at the batteries, when you have connected a engine, not if you haven't, you can see that the initial battery cost, not including the charge, is 30,000 materials, and it's in one spot like this. So I feel like we'll need to spread this out a little bit. It's so as I've written down the cost of this thing, we can safely shift delete to remove this. It's also too close to the current ammunition storage. I'm gonna remove them here so that we don't get some issues with the ammo. And I also noted this little funny thing here. We actually have some of these rudders here to be set up as a pitch/yaw. Up and down using rudders is just not the best way to do it. We can see here, I saw these ones are set up to be rollers. Yeah, so that is something that we may need to fix later. This passive type of stabilization is not how we usually like to do it. So even though it's not quite a topic of this video in particular, we are going to remove them as I see them right now, since I'm a little bit scared that I'll forget about it. Anyways, adding lasers we shall do. And if you want to remove, like, we have some empty boxes now, it's pretty useless, so we just shift delete and we can remove the same thing of the same block here. It's probably smart if you save your construct before playing around with these settings, because some of these mass do things are kind of non-reversible, which is of course a really bad time if you accidentally do something. And it's good to have it saved. Oh, and that I need to tell you, a lot of people don't know this, but if you kind of messed up, right? You really messed up and you want to get your build back, right? You'll just go to like load vehicle and then you go backwards so you can see autosaves designer. And inside of here, you have like a lot of autosaves, like for example, the Replica class destroyer. Here you can see some autosaves with some, you know, building I did and didn't save. Really handy. Looking through the folder, I just spawned this little system here. It's pretty crazy. We're not gonna use it. It's not the best, but it would essentially double the laser's strength. I don't know when I'm going to use it. But we're gonna use some smaller system additions instead, of course. So we're making a DPS laser, so the pumps are most important. It's basically laser pumps packed into a EMP insulated and armored little shell, which is perfect for this application. So we're just gonna slab together a couple of them on the side here and connect them up to the system, so we'll have some kind of interconnectivity. And as you can see here, they will connect up to each other a little bit as well too, so that is indeed pretty handy. Now, making some way, we're just going to delete the ammo in the front here. Again, we've written down the numbers so we know how much it was. But of course, we'll see what's necessary to even have as well. But in the front here, we can see you have a lot of free space, which we can use to add some systems. And that ammo chain reacted in our little battle testing, saying what's wrong with it, basically. This is the front of the ship, which we'll expect to basically be a little bit hurt in the beginning of the battle. We are expected to take a, you know, some damage at least here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another type of system here. We're going to have a charge system. So it's mainly stored laser charges, and that we can then use, you see, to deal initial super high damage, which is very nice. And basically, if it's get destroyed, it's not as important because it has more charge stored and less generated per minute. And don't get me wrong, it's not the expendable laser system or anything like that. It just has less pumps. We're gonna remove this little ammo bay in the back as well, so we can have some space to add our systems, but also, well, fix the ammo access to a more, well, less explosive system. I've added more of these here and there, and I even added the unprotected little charge system here. So they're basically come pre-charged when we get into a battle, and they have a lot of energy stored. This is a proper charge laser system, right? And they don't need protection here because they're basically behind this super well protected block, so we might as well have them just as they are here. And it's also in the back of the ship, so we are just going to add a few more laser systems kind of here where we had that ammo, and then we'll call it a day for the lasers. And we want this to be a DPS laser, right? So we're gonna have more of the armored pumps here. Look at it. They just fit perfectly. It's like they were meant to be installed here. Look at it. And they're just connected like that. Very nice. We can add some more redundancy, of course, that we can do, but well, this will be fine, I think. Look at that. We basically doubled the strength of the laser, and we have more than 1 million in laser storage, so it's gonna bite real hard the first couple of seconds. Well, the laser is a damaged system, so we'll need to set it up more properly here, but we basically added the infrastructure for the lasers, which is nice indeed. And we emptied out some boxes that were open too. Now we're going to look at the engines. So if we go in here to special views and import non-structural blocks, it is. And just wait a second. And that's just a figure of speech, as you might understand, waiting like a minute. But now we have a very clear and nice view of all of the parts here. So here you can see here we have an engine with superchargers, and they're nice because they're pretty efficient. This is actually, I think it's the powerhouse, right? Whoops, spawned it here. It's a prefab. This engine in particular, however, is much more efficient when you run it at lower RPMs, so it's less suited to be a type of battleship engine, which is kind of not what it's supposed to do, right? Or if you want to have an efficient battleship, of course, but the RPM on these things are not limited, so I don't really think that's the intention. They do charge the batteries, however, but we have some better ways to charge the batteries. So yeah, that is not something we need here. Now, we can probably go and look a little bit here. Since we begin with a system, it's a little bit hard to predict exactly how much energy generation we'll need later on, so I guess we'll just add some overkill systems to make sure we can handle it. Here you can see an example on why it's nice to use these type of rubber blocks. It's easy to manage and maintain that laser system if we want to add and change anything in there. Anyways, these engines are basically, yeah, they're gonna go away. They are disqualified for the work we're gonna put them through. We're gonna have some backup engines, yes, of course we're going to have that, but these are not it. And having all the fuel stored in the rod like this, my god, just look at this thing. Fire created when destroyed. 16,000. That's a lot of fire. Yeah, so we're gonna remove them. The fuel here. Delete. Now this way too. We're gonna get back the structural block so we can actually see something. And I think having all these material boxes here, yeah, we're going to remove them for the time of being so we can see properly. And well, having some of these as some kind of armor, that is not a bad strategy, absolutely not. But yeah. We'll need to oversee that a little bit, basically, and move them around to some places that might be beneficial. Actually do like that, like that, because it's pretty crammed here, so it's important that we see properly. So now we have no material storage at all. Good to know that it is like that. Of course, we need to add back some battery power as well. But first, we're going to check out these engine compartments, which are here, switching back to main view. So we are totally saying bye-bye prefab engines. You don't have anything here to do. Same on this side. Now, this is not a steam engine tutorial, but there are basically things called parallel steam engines and serial steam engines. And the serial ones are more efficient. We can like use the exhaust or the output of the first one to the second and the third and the fourth, and that saves a lot of energy. Real steam engines do a lot of that. Then we can also have parallel steam engines, and that costs a lot of power when you set it, basically power them, but they are very powerful and compact, so that we're going to use as main propulsion. However, to generate some of that regular engine power, we need to use some serial steam engines because we don't want it to be crazy inefficient, if you know what I mean. So we are going to rely on steam on this thing here. Steam boilers, they are flammable when they start burning, but it's still the most reasonable system to use for a big ship. So let us get here. This little engine here is a, well, 4-stage engine, reasonably powerful, and should generate some good 40,000 power under load. Now, right now, it looks like it costs or gets us more than 100,000 power. This is not true because it is indeed steam engines work differently when on under load and when not under load. But it's good to have engines in different places and not too close to anything, so the fire might spread and destroy some very important blocks. Also, since flammable stuff is better placed underwater, we are naturally going to have our steam engines like on the lower section, so under the waterline always. And we're going to have them spread out to different areas of this ship, so that if we get hit by a really big cram, all of our engines want to go at once, which is, of course, a big problem a lot of people face when building stuff in this game. So now we have replaced the engine power needed that was before on it, and it should be more efficient. And also, I'm not quite sure we need fuel for fuel engines right now. We can add that later if we feel the need for it. But right now, I think the system is good as it is, and we'll have to add some more in case we need it. But otherwise, I think this should be pretty decent. Right, so now it comes to getting the battery power. So we removed that battery power that was before, so obviously we'll need to place down some battery power, but better spread out and protected. Now, these little battery packs here have 4 million power each and can generate 24,000 power. However, that is, of course, they're set up to use or generate that power as a last resort, so they're not going to generate like randomly like that. Now, batteries in from the depth are not flammable as they will create the fire when they are destroyed, but if they start to burn, they're gonna burn pretty well as rubber, better than wood. So it's good to keep them not close to anything that will start to burn, and also preferably, if possible, under the waterline while it's not important. It's not super important to under the waterline. It kind of depends where we can fit them. There, we could fit another one here. And fire doesn't spread that long usually, so we should be able to place one here. And of course on the other side here. And you can see from the side they have pretty little side exposed to the enemy, so they are not that likely to be completely wrecked, which is of course a bonus. Honestly, I hardly think we need more power storage than this. It's not like we have a ship full of plasma cannons exactly, or big pack, but maybe we have in the future. But for now, I think this should be enough. 20 million should be absolutely enough to compensate for that, well, 30 million it had before. Anyways, now we need some way to generate electricity as well, and it is to be decided exactly how much we'll need, but we're gonna use steam for this as well. So we have a big turbine. So we have the double big one here. I think they're a little bit too big to fit in there, so we're gonna select the half system with half the energy generation basically. They have of course steam boilers, which means that they will create some fire when destroyed. So we'll need to think a little bit on exactly where we should place them. Right, I found a reasonable spot here. Since the fire is created at a boiler, it should be a-okay that we're close to the laser connections there. So, as said, not quite sure exactly how much we'll need. Are these real blocks? These are real blocks too. Okay, good. What do we have inside of here? Not much. And inside there, not much either. So we can definitely fit the other system here. Yeah, that should be fine. And to be honest, I think we are most likely covered in energy generation. Not quite certain, but I think it's pretty easy to add some new systems. So unless we can find a reasonable place to add one, which I may have found actually, what about adding one just around here? Should be pretty safe as well. The super neat thing with this little system here is that we have a boiler and one of this, and if one of the boilers or one of these turbines get destroyed, as long as this middle is alive, we have some type of energy generation. So yeah, now we'll need to just drop down a little bit of materials like that. I just cut out some here so we can see kind of the boxes where stuff is located. Needs to be cleaned out a little more here. So we have dejanked the area a little bit here, so we are free to add some blocks and stuff like that. I think we can add back some of the resources here, very just closely connected to the AI, so that they may work as some kind of meat shield. Of course, this is not the best way, and we're going to add some proper protection later on, but just to have some materials here, because the trick, of course, with everything in From the Depth is to have redundancy. And if you don't believe me, please look at the Gimli battles. They are a very good example on why redundancy is great, actually. Anyhow, we are going to add some, like, stuff like this. We can add it between turrets and stuff like that. And that way, it kind of will be protected by just being between two very meaty blocks like that, or meaty structures. So it can be a great way. Also, on the other side of something pretty strong, like it's less likely that both of these get taken out. So it's smart to protect. And here is the front of the ship. And sometimes it's really bad to have sensitive things in the front of the ship. Sometimes it's really good. It's a little bit luck dependent, but as said, we really want to spread out things. So we might as well have one big storage in the front here. And we can even have one down here, like that. If we're not faced with torpedoes, this should be a very good placement. And for most systems like this is a big turret, so it's a pretty good place to have it behind it. But we have two there, so that will be enough. Now these turrets don't have turret wells. That's absolutely something we'll need to add. But these are proper, yeah. So we'll add them here. And in the weird case that someone would spam us with torpedoes coming from beneath, a scary method that almost nobody uses, probably because it's not fun to code Lua missiles. But yeah, if you wanna see how From the Depth old user interface looks like, well, you'll just do like this. Go here and find the Lua code box here, or it's actually under AI. Now it's under control. I never use Lua, if that wasn't apparent. Here you see. This is the interface we had before. This looks so outdated. Well, now you know. And one here in the backmost part of the ship. So we have them all spread out. Make sure we have some material wherever we get hit, basically. Yeah, that's how to make it redundant. And add some there too. Now we have over 1 million, which is the max you can give to a craft when you have battles between enemies. So I think that will be quite enough. Yeah, I think we're done with materials. 1.2 million I think will suffice. We can add later in case it actually runs out, which I don't think it will, but you know, we can do that. So the reason we don't want to have ammo at the same place is if we have like an explosion, a cram, fragments, you know, hash, whatever, coming in and providing some type of shockwave, the ammo storages, they don't have like the best amount of health, of course, and they're gonna provide some explosiveness too. So if we have some explosion nearby, all of them might blow up, and even worse, they may chain react, which is of course a very bad day. However, you can see here, it says 15-meter radius. The further away we go, like the less it will be affected by the radius. So let's just have some increments. We have 3. What am I doing? I literally just added this to not have to guess/count blocks. So yeah, now we can use it. Good. If we just detonate this one here, they'll chain react except this last one. But having some space between them, we don't need to have heavy armor to protect them at all. We can have a low health point, high armor class block, like applique panels. And if we detonate this first one again, you can see it gets stopped. It doesn't reach very far. So we can basically have tiny boxes protected with applique. And that's what we're gonna spread out on the Yamato. And if you want this little platform, you can download it on Steam Workshop. I made a video about it yesterday or something. It has a good descriptor here too, if you want to know a little bit more about fleet colors and the features it packs. Also, a lot of you wanted to download this indeed, but you forgot to rate it, it seems. It seems that 348 of you has forgotten to rate it, so please give me a rating, would be fun. And as I said, like ammo boxes is literally the most volatile thing we can add here. And these we really want to spread out as far as we can. So we're going to add that next time. Not looking suspicious at all here. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like the video if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe in case you would like to catch the rest of this series. It can be pretty handy. Check out that little stream on the Gmodism channel. And of course get that platform if it's something you want. You can rate also in the YouTube community right there if you want to participate a little bit in the decisions I'll make. And if you want to support the channel, the ecclesiarchy is joinable just below this video right there, and you'll get early access to some videos. Your host Eric of Gmodism signing out.